What's up, everybody? Yeah, I decided to move the room to the room. Yeah, I just sorry I haven't been as active as I should be. I mean, I'm getting tired of me saying that, but I guess I'm generally either on other social media platforms playing around. Where, like I said, my intention is to build this channel up and communicate my views and issues in an attempt to, in order to just instead of wasting time, I might be able to use this wasted time to build me up some income. But that's not necessarily what I'm on today. Now, I don't necessarily, due to the fact I'm not monetized, and I guess not being monetized, they can't take my monetization away. Pretty much the only thing they can do in this era of censorship is delete my video for whatever reason they may feel is applicable. But the thing I'm here for tonight is, I just don't understand. I don't understand why the animosity from the vaccinated people of this country or this world even is coming against those who either are ineligible. Well, I guess not so much for those who are ineligible, but for those who make the conscious choice to not um, get the vaccine. Now, this is a very touchy subject, and it has been for over a year because it seems like whenever you discuss it, even though in the beginning, even the scientists didn't necessarily know a lot about it, it's a touchy subject because nowadays, I guess they feel as if the internet must handhold people in order to prevent them from being too gullible and influenced by the opinions and thoughts and actions of others. Uh, this is a kind of a dangerous thing, I think, because social media should be pretty much treated as a public utility. Just like if I was to go down the street and say something, there are certain stipulations that come with freedom of speech. I guess the common thing they say is one shouldn't yell fire in a crowded theater because what that does is compromise the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness of others because it places them in a sense of panic and urgency and danger in order to try to escape this theoretically burning theater. But yeah, I just wanted to let me get back to my point here. Now, from someone, now I hope this, whoever the eyes that be would understand this, I'm gonna make this point right off the top. I caught the COVID in February, in the beginning parts of February. And this was before they had any tests. There were any known symptoms that really, for the most part, this country didn't know anything about the COVID. And, I think it was like the day, matter of fact, I can earmark this because it was the day I was laying on my couch and I think I was like really pretty much starting to feel better. And that was the day that they found out that Kobe had died and his daughter had died in that accident. Now, what had followed after that, to tie it into that, is that that around the internet there was floating around a newspaper cover that announced Kobe's death, but also had another headline in it in relation to the Kobe. So I saw this, and I also had remembered, like previously, I guess it was around Christmas or whatever, when they were showing videos of, and I guess this was in Asia, where they were like chasing people down with sticks and grab them, put them in the van or whatever. And it, and I guess, my twisted sense of humor, I kind of chuckled, because I didn't understand. And I guess nobody who saw that, probably in America, who saw that video at the time, probably didn't understand what was going on. But yeah, I saw the article. And at that point, I just started doing a little research of my own, and I started seeing, well, this new virus has been discovered, and it's there's worries about it, and these people are being quarantined due to the fact they don't know what's going on. So I'm like, okay, and due to the fact that we had never seen, at least not in my lifetime, we had never seen something that was so potentially threatening due to this contagion level. I pretty much brushed it off, because even though I kind of speculated that, maybe I caught this thing they're talking about. But I never really could be certain, because at that point they didn't really have anything in regards to what the symptoms were, other than it was like a flu-like. Not saying that it's the flu at this point, but back then they said that the symptoms were flu-like, and that it caused respiratory issues, and that's what caused me to kind of like think, well, maybe I had what they're talking about. But as it went on, and you saw the news conferences and things like that, and then in March the lockdowns came. It says the shelter in place came, where people were sheltered in place, and you could go outside, and and you would see like the freeway. The first time I've been living in Chicago, 10 years, and it's the first time I'd ever seen the freeways as free as they were. It wasn't 5 wasn't in sight. So, I had just bought my car. I just bought a new car. I think maybe it was a week after I gotten better. I just bought my new car. So I was like taking advantage of the freeway, but in regards to speed limits and things of that nature. But that's, once again, I'm deviating from the point I'm making. But it's like during that time period, me being someone who likes to search for information, and I like to think I have a wide breadth of knowledge on multiple subjects. I wanted to invest. I investigated these things. I followed this very closely, and the reason I was able to follow it so closely in the beginning is because we were put, like, I think it was like the end, maybe it had to be before my birthday, around my birthday, whatever. We were put, our job had put us on furlough because of the shelter in place and things of that nature, and how things were happening so rapidly in regards to trying to figure out what this virus was and how to curtail the effects of it and things like that. But I was able to able to follow what was going on, and they would have the daily briefings, and they would say the speculations. Oh, well, this potentially came from a wet market in China. It might have came from a bat or a pangolin, so to speak, and it was interesting that they said pangolin, because I think I was watching, I think it was Billions, and they had an episode where they had the pangolin is a delicacy for the ultra, was presented as a delicacy for the ultra rich. So I was like, okay, so I knew what a pangolin was, and so when I thought about it, I said, well, that seems kind of odd, considering that this I'm sure that wet markets had been in China for a considerable amount of time, and for them to just be able to come out and arbitrarily say, well, yeah, it had to come from a wet market, And and whereas like a logical person would kind of think, well, this is a new virus. Either if you're on leaning to the conspiracist part, you might think, well, maybe they made this might have been a something that was made nefariously in order to be released upon the world, or released upon a certain section of people in order to cause them harm or negative effect. But even on the less conspiratorial spectrum, you would kind of think, well, this is a new virus. You would kind of think, well, it's been thousands and thousands of years, and really, I guess they say with the SARS was a new virus, and it was a couple of years before that. So it's like, well, this something this new and this harmful, maybe this is some type of mistake that was made in a lab or something. But it seemed like automatically people were saying, well, no, the media was coming out saying, no, we're dismissing the lab theory. We're going to stick with the wet market theory. Fine, okay. And then you start seeing the names that were emerging, that were coming out and trying to make themselves spokespersons for, I guess the fight against the virus or whatever. You saw your Bill Gates come out, things like that. Okay, so and we said we watched as it was politicized because unfortunately it was an election year, and that also pretty much added an extra layer of confusion, because due to the fact the president that was in office was someone that was highly propagated in media as being, shall I say, unsuitable or unfit for office. And there were several cases and things going on, and I guess during that time period, like right around when I was sick, I think it was like right at the end when they had one of the impeachment trials or whatever. So yeah, it was like okay, you had these people who were running for the position of president, and you had the president trying to do the job which he's hired to do, and you have the people that are vying to get the job. So what they're doing, they're going to have critiques about how this person is running the office. But it's like, well, considering that both parties are part of the government, you would have thought that they would have tried to work together and showed a level of unification. But alas, that was not the case. So we went all throughout that year. People weren't able to work because either the fact that jobs were closed, or the fact that the economy had started turning and people weren't going out to places, so they were bound to be home, and their kids had to be home for home learning and things of that nature. So we had all these things going on, and and all through the course of it, people were dying, and people were getting sick, and and everyone's trying to avoid catching it, but we're going along the course of this, and meanwhile, you have people like saying looking for means to treat it, but almost immediately they start talking about a vaccine. And even in the course of the vaccine, the beginning seemed like with the discussion about the vaccine, they were having a discussion in regards to, well, it seems as if this virus is negatively affecting the African American community disproportionately. Now, generally, when this society, because in my opinion, based on the evidence, the lifelong evidence I've encountered, this is a society that's dominated by non people of color, non-black people. So when you hear things that like, okay, we're going to show special attention to black people, which are considered to be at the bottom of the spectrum in regards to society, whether that's true or false. Well, it is my opinion that it's false. Um, someone who is amongst that group is going to be is going to be skeptical because out of all the needs and wants that my community might need within this country, need or want within this country, and that includes elements of healthcare. Why all of a sudden would there be such a concern about um, the transmission of something that kills us when you have things like uh, for lack of a better term, black on black crime in the area in the communities, poverty, food deserts and things of that nature. But suddenly a new virus emerges, and now we have to worry about that. Now all of a sudden the prime objective is to make sure all the black folks is all right. Okay, we'll ride with that one. But meanwhile, you know, we're not hearing much about the outbreak in Africa. And although us native or indigenous blacks or transported Africans, historically transported Africans, um, are somewhat removed from our cousins or our distant relatives in the motherland, we still carry the DNA and the characteristics of those people. So even in the course of the fact that many of us were dying and catching the disease, and I myself, when I was sick, um, the issue came about the comorbidities, well, the pre-existing conditions that a person might have. Now, I myself, I have high blood pressure. I've had heart surgery, and really, and I think in a way, I kind of think that um, actually the medication I had kind of helped in my recovery because I was on a blood thinner. And one of the problems with that came out much later in regards to the virus is that it causes blood clots. Now when I was sick, and it's like I also have an issue with my skin when my skin breaks out. Now if I would scratch something and I would just a random little scratch, and I will look down maybe a few minutes later, and there's blood all down my leg, and that's just because I'm taking this blood thinner. And I say that to say that while I was sick, you know, I I was my skin was irritated. I was sweating, and I was bleeding, and I'm bleeding all over the place and shit. And I don't know I don't know necessarily know, and it was just uncommon for even with the condition as it was. Now I'm no longer on that particular medication now, but it was just weird for me at that time. But I'm still I'm telling you all this to get to my point. Okay, so even during while the election was going on, the campaign thing was going on. You had the president that was in office at the time. He was saying, well, we were working on the vaccine, and the vaccine should be coming soon. And he was right; it did come soon. But the odd thing about it is that the opposing party was showing skepticism as well. Saying, well, they I guess even the current vice president, that she showed apprehension because I guess due to the fact that that current president at the time was in power and while it was being developed. So the election came and went, and the other party gained the seat. In the midst of much acrimony and confusion, and uh, befuddlement. So that while that's going on, there's not so much worry. Well, I guess there is worry, but the main thing that was on the agenda was this election, and the person that was coming in next. So while once that person attained this power, then all of a sudden the vaccine becomes okay. This becomes a thing that in which they're purporting, which they're doing the most of the they're doing the uh, with this new part when this new party's president comes in, no longer there's not any more strong speculation or doubt in regards to this vaccine, because during the election, during the campaigning, they actually expressed doubt that a vaccine would even be done, even though I'm certain that they knew it, um, because these people, they were the candidates against the sitting president. So of course they have briefs and information that comes to them. So they knew this vaccine was just about to be ready to release. So um, now once they got in this vaccine, that there was just so much confusion and concern and I guess what's the word I'm looking for, skepticism about. All of a sudden this party's behind it, and it's ready to take the bold, I guess, presume the lifesaver cape, if you will, even though they were still arguing over aid for the people who were following the guidelines and social distancing and wearing the mask. But even though they were losing income and weren't getting money and things of that nature, and struggling about worrying about this bill or that bill, they were dragging their feet on the aid. But once again, that's another topic. So let me go ahead and get to what the point I'm making. Now I said that I caught the COVID. Now I didn't take a test, but from all descriptions of the symptoms, and comparing comparison to the symptoms that I had, I caught the COVID, and I did indeed have long COVID, because I there was a time I couldn't smell and I couldn't taste, and then I was having stroke, and it took me a good while to get my wind back. Um, and I think that was something that was done. I had to will that, because I had to work, and even then, like I said, I didn't know what it was I particularly had early on. So it's like, well, I figured I just got over like a flu or a respiratory infection or something like that. Even though it was like one of the sickest times I ever had been, admittedly, because at one point I think I actually thought I was at the Reaper's door, and it may have been, they say, the hallucination type of thing. But it's like, I'll be honest and say I actually thought that I heard my father call my name, and I snapped up, and I think I sat on the edge of my bed for maybe like an hour. Now I'm sick as a dog still. I was just scared to lay the fuck back down. No, not fuck part of my language, because like I said, I'm not monetized, and a lot of y'all niggas is not even watching. Hopefully somebody watches, because I'm tired. Um, but yeah, now the vaccines are being offered broadly to everyone, and it's fine. It's good if it gives someone um, a sense of security, if it gives someone the opportunity to fight contracting the disease, and it prevents people from dying. That's fine too. My thing comes from a distrust, number one, because it seems, for a disease to just manifest itself in the same year, where a month later a new strain of a virus manifests itself, and within the course of a year, or actually within the course of months, you're able to make a vaccine. And this vaccine had, the other vaccines generally have long clinical trials and things of that nature. but you're able to make it, and you're able to mass produce it, and you're able to mass produce it enough where you can give it free to anybody, whoever wants it. That's fine too. Okay, so for me, being someone who's skeptical, who's paranoid about, even going to the doctor, taking medication, period, my thing is, well, you know, I've had this. I hadn't contracted it um, since I had it. I go to work. We have us on furlough for about a month. I go to work. I've been going to work every day for, I'm kind of now, I guess, for about a year now, and I haven't contracted it again. And to go from the strength of, okay, well, maybe I have the things that they're trying to guess what they're trying to do is spike proteins and antibodies and things of that nature. What they're trying to do is build the immune system up. I would kind of think that I have antibodies. I mean, and can, as far as I know, they're still doing that. They're still doing research on that, on whether and how long, if antibodies are effective and how long they may last. Um, I just pretty much had decided that there's something that I don't want to participate in. I don't want to take it, and to much to my chagrin, and so the people uh, and it's not just me. Instead of people just respecting my option, because considering this my life in which I have to live, and whatever repercussions may befall me are the repercussions I've chosen. You have people that have taken the vaccine and purportedly have a protection against the virus, where they're trying to play those who choose not to have the vaccine, or whoever, or just generally unvaccinated. They're making an effort to treat us as if we have a scarlet letter on us, which confuses me for this particular reason. And I ask this question all the time. I say, well, you're vaccinated. I'm not. The vaccine is supposed to provide you protection from the virus. So I don't want this to be too far a stretch of logic, but if you took the vaccine for protection against COVID, and I don't have protection to get, well, I didn't take a vaccine, to get protection of COVID, from COVID. Why would you be worried about me? You have protection from the COVID. And it's like, um, you are allowed now, okay? Because I'm gonna go ahead and speak, because you got a lot of people talking about, well, what a lot of people are even wishing this on people, that your place of employment requires you to have a vaccine. Now, my place of employment has had me working as an essential worker for a year without a vaccine, just a mask and social distance, which I continue to do to this day. Why would you, a vaccinated person, be so concerned about me? When I really, for all intents and purposes, because from what I told about the mask, about wearing the masks, is that you don't wear a general surgical mask. Do I have one of those? I should have one of those. I'll clean my table. I'll have it right now. A general surgical mask. They told us from the beginning that wearing the mask is not to prevent the virus from coming at you and you catching virus particles. It's to prevent the virus particles from coming out of you. Now, um, from what I understand, uh, even with the benefits the vaccine has, it does not remove the virus particles from your body. It does not remove the virus particles from the environment around you. So using the deductive reasoning that I use, I said, okay, so I still have to wear my mask in order to keep my COVID inside, but these my coworkers, they're allowed to walk around without a mask, and they don't necessarily have to social distance, and they've taken all the little accoutrements like the spray alcohol. We used to be able to spray the alcohol on our workstations and the cafeteria tables and things like that. They're taking all those accoutrements, those accessories and things away from us. So it's like, well, now we have to be even increasingly more careful, because if you're not wearing a mask, and they told us that the mask is supposed to prevent you from spreading your COVID germs, keeping your germs in your mouth, but you can breathe freely. On me, who is also wearing a mask to keep the germs in my mouth from getting to you, I don't have a barrier to prevent, your particles from coming at me. But the point, and I'm gonna get to the point of why I label the video what it is. I label the video, if you dig a grave for me, you better dig too. Because the thing about it is that, even if I understand that you're constantly being bombarded in the news and commercials about the vaccine, the vaccine, the vaccine. And I understand that. I understand the fear is a part of that also. And but for some of you to say things like, and for a large amount of the part, they're kind of necessary and they're spiteful. We say things like, that's if they die, then that's what they get. They deserve. They're just stupid. They're ignorant and things of that nature. And you don't really, you don't even really know what this person's situation is. For example, it might be somebody who has a compromised immune system and can't take the shit, or some other stuff like that. So how can you put this out here, put this energy out here, where you're saying, okay, well, since you ain't do what I did, you need to die. That's how somebody like me. Okay, you might backtrack and say, when I say it like that, you might backtrack and say that's not exactly what I meant, but that's what it sounds like to me. I'm minding my business. I keep my distance away from people. I keep my mask on. I From what I understand, I don't know, unless I just missed that article. It's still not approved by the FDA. They're still finding out how effective the vaccine is, because now you got Fauci coming out talking about, well, there might be a need for booster shots. And then you have things like, oh, you got these variants like the Delta variant, the Gamma variant, the UK variant, the South African variant. And it's like, well, okay. Um, I'm sure there were variants going on during the course when they were making the vaccine, you know. And it's like and somebody like me who likes to ask questions. Another question I like to ask is, well, what if, you know, the component, the vaccine working this way in order to prevent the particular COVID that y'all designed to fight against? What if the COVID is mutating itself to fight that vaccine and changing to these other variants, and these variants are coming out? But my thing about it is that I'm just tired. I just really don't understand it. I mean, and then there's still this push going on where they're saying, well, you know, we got to get more people vaccinated. Got to get more people vaccinated. Okay. What I don't get about that is that why are we still hearing about the vaccine? You got to take this vaccine, and it's supposed to have been, when it was being talked about and brought up about, they were saying that God damn.
Man, wow. I don't know if it's still going on. Yeah, I'm still going. Look like it. But that thing, usually when I'm doing these lives, my screen's still over. My computer is straight locked on me. But yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and right here, man. What I'm just saying is man, just if you choose to take the vaccine, great for you. I hope you feel safe. I hope you feel protected from the COVID. Now, if you're like myself and you choose not to take the vaccine, like several other people at my job, because now if you don't have the vaccine, you still have to wear your mask and blah blah blah. Which, like I explained earlier, I'm kind of confused about that, considering that the mask is supposed to protect other people, um, and other people aren't wearing the mask, and even though they have a vaccine, they still are COVID. They still can carry the disease and pass it off to others. That's why they tell you that the cases are rising amongst the unvaccinated, because you have the unvaccinated people commingling with the vaccinated people who aren't wearing any protection to protect you. You are the person that are wearing the protection to protect them, when theoretically they don't even need it. So yeah, this is my video. I was gonna be a little bit more thorough. I mean, it seemed like I've been going on here for almost 40 minutes, and hopefully this will be one of the ones that y'all watch. I'm steadily trying to get a little bit more fluid with it in some kind of way to make y'all stay engaged with what I'm talking about. But that's all. That's all personal preference. I'm gonna reach my audience, you know, because like I said, I'm in here to spread information. I'm here to teach. I'm here to learn. But above all, I'm in this space, because I see a lot of people making money on this internet shit, and I've been on this internet shit for years, and I'm making near the money I should be making, according to, some of the other influencers or bloggers and things of that nature. So I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for coming into the Nijar room, the Injure, the nigger room. Yeah, that's what it is. Cause it's what the niggas are, you know. Cause right about now, is um, after this election, and after the way that some of you black folks are acting towards people who are trying to make a personal decision in regards to how they live their life. I'm about tired of being an African American, a black person. Let me go back. Let me be back. Let me go back to being a nigga. Because that the ancestors, they were known as the niggers, and the popular Charleston White says, we can never be those people. Even if the white man call you nigga today, we can't hold a candle to them people, our ancestors. We can't even go. You know, for people who can't even boycott a football game, ain't no way a lot of y'all could handle the lash. No. Mm-mm. So yeah, this is the Niger room, and it's cold for the nigga room. Y'all take care of yourselves. I know I am, cause I'm a prove. No, I'm not gonna. It's not to prove to y'all. I'm not gonna die. Not the way y'all want me to die. But I want you to keep that energy and see how well that energy works for you and those around you. Peace and love.